Hey guys, welcome to Fishful Thinker. I'm Chad LaChance. We're in Williams Fork Reservoir. We're in Middle Park, Colorado. We're hunting for giants today. Lake trout and pike, that's what's on the menu for the day. Stay tuned, get comfortable, it ought to be fun.
Fishful Thinker Television is brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter. Peterson Toyota and Toyota Trucks, moving forward. St. Croix Rod, best rods on earth. Berkeley, catch more fish. Abu Garcia, for life.
Got him. Oh, buddy, there we go. Oh, buddy. I don't even know what to say, guys. It's first thing in the morning. And, oh, he come off. He pulled off. About broke my hand setting the hook on him too. He pulled off.
Fishful Thinker Television is brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. Evinrude, spend more time on the water. Lawrence, find, navigate, dominate.
Always got to make sure, 100% sure, that that line right here is in this line roller. Because if it is not, and you yank on this line and this very, very short, stiff St. Croix, it's going to pop the bail open and you are not going to catch your fish. That first bite, other than me flubbing it, should have had that one. But the key to it is that they're going to move around a little bit on the bottom, and so really get a jig in the area and work it around the area. Maybe fish come to your jig. Maybe as the boat drifts around, which is more than you think, your jig gets moved into front of one. You see them in that lower left screen. I've got the HCS 9 split screen. I've got a couple of marks there on the graph. We're slowly drifting away from them. You're not going to get a ton of bites doing this. This is just not that kind of fishing where you're going to get a ton of bites. You have to come out here with the mentality that you're going to get a few bites. They're probably going to be big fish. You know, that's the whole thing about it. If you're going to go fishing for big fish, is a different story, and you're not going to get a huge number of bites from them. If you caught 4 of these guys in a day, it would be an epic day. I mean, that's what you're talking about. And we here at Fishful Thinker are big believers, and sometimes you need to go out and push your own envelope. So, you know, you never catch big ones fishing for little ones unless you just get real lucky. And so, if I can get this guy to bite, we'll be doing good. And every bone in my body wants me to snap jig that thing and pop it up off the bottom and see if we can get their attention and da-da-da-da-da. No, that was just the bottom. But the reality of the situation is, that has not really typically worked. All right, guys, I got one stuck now. We've been going around in circles for a while. Oh, buddy, that's either a big lake trout. Oh, that's a big one, guys. I'm not lying. We're gonna give him a little bit of room on the drag because he wants to go down. Oh, man, guys, that's the hardest. Oh, buddy, not that much drag. Those things are strong. Look at that rod, guys. That rod is bent over. That is a big old fish. This rod right here is extremely stiff. Come on, baby. Please stay on there. Please stay on there. Please stay on. That's all I can say. If you're gonna fish for giants like these, you just gotta hope that he'll stay pinned because you're just not gonna get a lot of bites. And I'll just lift up on him, lift, use my body to do it, then reel down, then lift on the fish. Never slacking him out. I still haven't even seen him yet. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Oh gosh. I just broke my net in half with him. Oh my gosh. Look at the size of that lake trout. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys. We're gonna get the half and oh buddy, there he goes. Is he gonna go or not? Okay, got him. Look at the size of this fish. Are you kidding me? Look at how big and bruiserish and thick across the back. That is, come on from there. I mean, look at that. Look how big he is. What an amazing catch. You ready to go, buddy? You ready to go? Because we don't want to hurt you. You ready or not? We're gonna let him go. I'm gonna wait till he kicks. As strong as this fish is, he'll kick when it's time. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Fishful Thinker Television is brought to you by Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors. Peterson Toyota and Toyota Trucks, moving forward. Lawrence, find, navigate, dominate.
The bottom line is you can't outwork the fish. You got it when it comes to these big giant ones, and my experience of fishing them here in Colorado, which is limited compared to maybe some of you at home, but you can't overwork them. The tube jig and this big giant tube jig on the bottom is, I mean, if the camera looks, I am barely lifting that tube just big enough to see if I can feel it. Lift it off the bottom, puts a little tiny bend in the tip of the rod, and I set it right back on the bottom. There's no, we're not jigging it, we're not picking it up and letting it spiral. We're putting about that much air between the tube jig and the bottom, and that's it, and setting it right back down to the bottom. And I learned that from Bernie Keefe, and I owe 90% of what I know about lake trout fishing from Bernie Keefe. And it's become one of my favorite ways to catch fish because it kind of combines Florida grouper fishing with electronics. It's a major electronics thing, and then, you know, your equipment and everything better be right. Your knots better be good, your line better be, everything better be good, because you're fishing for huge fish. You're not gonna get a lot of bites. You need to capitalize on all of them. I've had 2 bites this morning and put 1 fish in the boat. And if I don't catch another fish the rest of the day, I'm fine with that. But the reality is you're not fishing for a lot of bites when you're fishing for huge lake trout like this. So along those same lines, if you're gonna go out and you're gonna fish for giant old fish that are, you know, 25 to 40 years old, you have to understand the conservation of the species. As gentle as you can be on those fish. Notice I didn't want to hang the fish, pick him up off and hang him by anything. We want to hold his weight, keep him supported. We gave him plenty of time to regroup in my now mangled net. It's a very, very old fish, and there's no point in being any harder on that fish than you have to be. So you want to be careful about releasing them. And that fish swam away strong, which made me very happy that he did that. And you see, I'm just barely moving that jig. You see the tracer braid right there. I lower it down to slack it out just enough so that I know the jig is actually on the bottom. The jig weighs an ounce. Because that jig's so heavy, even with this short, stiff rod, I can feel it very well. So I set it on the bottom and basically just giving it a little knocking motion, just picking it up and setting it on the bottom, picking it up and setting it on the bottom. Not hardly doing anything with it. If there's anything feels wrong, straight to a hook set. And bass fishermen, as much as I love bass fishermen and I consider myself a bass fisherman first and foremost, different hook set altogether on these Lakers. What you basically need to do is go straight into a lift. You don't want to drop that tip and give them slack like we do for bass trying to pop a hook through a piece of plastic. Here you've got an exposed hook, but you've got a fish that may be 30 or 40 pounds with a big giant jaw that will bite down on him. And as you notice, my hand is a bloody stump from the last one that bit down on my hand in the boat. And so that gives you some idea what their bite power is all about. So when he bites this tube jig, he's gonna grab it and hold it, and it's up to you to yank that thing through his own grasp as hard as possible, or you won't get him. That goes with the real short, real stiff St. Croix rod right here, and the 20-pound Fireline braid, tracer braid, or excuse me, Fireline. It's not even braid, it's just a 20-pound Fireline with the tracer. And that makes all the difference in the world, being able to get these hook sets from deep. There is a 15-pound Trident 100% fluorocarbon leader down there, about 4 feet long. On the bottom of this as well, that's a visibility issue. You're dealing with a big old smart fish in clear water, and so for visibility, we have the leader on there, also for abrasion resistance. I use a combination of traditional sonar as well as Lawrence's down imaging. It's very, very important to have that down scan working for you because it gives you a combination of the sonar and the down scan. You get a better idea of what you're actually looking at there on the bottom. And it's a real good thing to have that. Same thing with the side scan. We get on this big flat with the side scanners on and really get an idea what's out there. But with this Laker fishing, you gotta have a waypoint, a way to mark a waypoint and get on top of the fish. You just gotta have that. So a lot of guys don't have a combination unit. They have just a sonar unit, and that's fine for locating them. But then you better have some way to mark a waypoint and get back on top of them because they are not swimming around. They don't live 40 years because they just get out here and swim around all the time. They get on the spot and they sit there. It's the first time I ever went ice fishing. I went for lake trout and went up with Bernie Keefe and Dan Swanson, two great friends of ours here in Fishful Thinker, and Dan, of course, guides with us as well. Had a ball, had a very difficult time getting fish hooked and staying pinned. Finally landed one and had a good time with that. And then went out deep jigging them and just couldn't get it to work out. When it went without going with anyone that really knew what they were doing, we just kind of went and limped our way through it and had the mighty fish doctor in the boat, Dr. Chris Myrick. And he ended up pulling up a huge lake trout on a swim bait of all the crazy things, 40+ feet down. Doing what he does, which is feed him big baits, and it turned out to be the most effective way to catch him that day. Got him. But I've learned a thing or two about how to catch him since then. Yeah, he's moving a lot more. Maybe he isn't that much smaller. When's the last time you had a fish do that in freshwater, guys, on heavy tackle? We got another one pinned up. Please stay on, please stay on. I know I said this last time. It's going around the front here. Where are you going, buddy? Now that one, interestingly enough, he lifted the bait up. The bait just got completely weightless, as though it was all of a sudden gone. The bait was no longer on the bottom, and there was no weight on the rod, and I just went right to a hook set because that's a 1 ounce tube. Look at all the bubbles. That's a good sign. See all those bubbles panning out of there, guys? That means the fish is definitely gonna be, oh, another big one. Holy smokes. Look at all these bubbles coming up right here. Here he is, here he's coming up right here, guys. Look at this thing. Holy smokes, what am I gonna do with that? Oh, buddy, look at the size of that lake trout. We're gonna try the modified net, the heavily modified, come on in here, net. Oh, buddy, we got another horse. Come here, buddy. Come here. If I can get a hold of him, we'll be doing good. Come here, fish. If I can get him. Here, we're just gonna dip the net. I think he'll swim right out of there. There you go, buddy. Look at that shark swimming away. Ho, ho, ho. Boom, boom, boom.
Fishful Thinker Television is brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter. St. Croix Rod, best rods on earth. Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors.
You guys may wonder what the bite really is all about here. You get such a big fish, and what's he gonna do with the bite? Well, it can be kind of all over the board. The first one that bit this morning yanked it. I mean, literally, I was looking at the graph and he yanked the rod almost out of my hand to the point where he ended up getting away. The second one was the big one you saw us land. That was more of a distinct tink on the bait. It just tink, and then I just went right to a hook set. It was a real, as though the bait hit a piece of concrete or something. You just barely dropped it back down and there was a tick to it. And enough to let me know there was a hook set. There needed to be a hook set. The last one, the bait slacked out, so I lifted up on the bait like this. Well, the bait didn't get any heavier. It didn't load the rod. I couldn't feel the bait. The feel was completely gone. And I like to call those pressure bites. Basically, the fish picks the bait up, and so therefore the bait doesn't sink and doesn't have any weight to it, and the fish is holding on to it. And anything that feels different, I'm gonna set the hook on. So our bite is about time. We're at we're getting on 9 o'clock now this morning. So we've been out here for 3 hours total from the time we could meet at the A&S inspection station. And so we've caught 2 and lost 1, and they've got real hard to catch in the last hour. So we're gonna see what happens, but I figured this bite was gonna die. As you can see, we're starting to get a ripple in the water. We're gonna go do about the most opposite thing you can do. We're gonna go from barely working a tube jig, and I mean barely working a tube jig, trying to catch Lakers, which are very shy and very deep water dwellers. We're gonna go the full opposite end of the spectrum. We are going to a jerkbait, which we're gonna work very fast and erratic, and we're gonna be looking for pike, a whole different ball game all the way around. So we'll see if we can get these last couple Lakers to play, but I doubt it, at which point we're gonna switch gears. We're back to Laker fishing, guys. We went pike fishing for about 30 minutes, and we got him, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's why we came back to go Laker fishing right there, guys, because it's a horse. It's another horse. Oh! We wanted to go pike fishing. Pike didn't want to play. How many times on this show have we said fish for what's biting? Well, look at him just throbbing. Guess what's biting? Lake trout. So guess what we came back to fish more for? Lake trout. I can't even budge him. He don't even want to come. Look at him on the graph. You can see he's 5 feet off the bottom. And there he goes. And he went right to the bottom. You can see where he just headed to the bottom. Play nice. Play, oh, where's he going? There's bubbles. He's bubbling already. That's a good sign. But I haven't even come close to seeing him, guys. I mean, he's 50 feet below the boat, and there's bubbles right here coming up. And that's a real good sign. You want the Lakers to do that. Lakers are one of the few fish that can expel air from their swim bladder. This is one of my best fishing days ever. You're watching it right here on film. I had tried to catch big Lakers over the years. Caught 1 or 2 here and there with lots of help. But this is a whole different story right here. And the boat's just drifting. We're fine. I'm still have to let us drift along here. Oh my gosh, look at the size of him. Okay. Oh, he's huge. Look at that. Holy smokes. Okay, here he comes. Oh. Okay. Okay. Got him up to here. Got to get my fancy net. Oh, buddy. Here's this big honking one right here. Look how fat that fish is. Look at that. Okay. Let's see if he'll play nice for a quick second. Oh. Woo, doggy! Holy smokes, what a giant. Look at that thing. Look at the size of that lake trout. Look how thick across the back. Look at him. Watch this. And he bled off a ton of bubbles on his way up here, so he'll have no problem. Straight down. Look at that. He can swim straight down. How cool is that? You know, you guys have seen these Lakers are enormously fat. They're so fat it's unbelievable. And the reason they are is this lake is managed for kokanee salmon egg production. Got him, got him, got him, got him, got him. Come on now, stay tight. There we go, there we go. It's either a little tiny one, it must be a little tiny one because he doesn't want to get tight. I was just starting to say that this lake was managed for kokanees. This must be a tiny little one. I'm not really sure. No, maybe not. Maybe he's not as little as he looked. He's just not as ambitious as some of them other ones. Oh, buddy, here we go. And you could see him on the graph again. I started to tell you guys, this lake is managed as a kokanee salmon fishery, or excuse me, a kokanee salmon egg, look at him bend it, egg production deal. You guys are witnessing one of my favorite days of fishing I've ever had in freshwater, and I'm not exaggerating, bar none. This is one of my most favorite days of fishing I've ever had in freshwater. And it's mostly because I feel like I've conquered the beast. There he is. Oh no, that's a huge one. Oh buddy, oh buddy. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this one here. Okay, I think we're gonna get him in our big giant hoopty net. Booyah! All right, here we go, guys. We're gonna see if we can gracefully get this slob put back in without hurting him any. Get a hold of his peduncle. Holy smokes, look at that. Look, I don't know what he's spitting up. See that white stuff he's spitting up right there, whatever that is. That's what we've seen all of them are spitting that up. And look at the size of him. What a fish, look at that. Oh, all right, buddy, whenever you're ready. There you go, straight back to the bottom. Oh, buddy, here we go again. Holy smokes. I can't believe it. Look at that thing all bowed up again. They ate my tube jig. I can't believe it. Outstanding. Holy smokes, look at that thing throbbing on this. My arms are gonna be tired, guys. And we've been working on the same basic area, just extrapolating around, moving around, following the river channel, moving around, looking for fish on the Lowrance unit. It's all about finding them on the graph. Oh, there he is right there. Oh, there he is right there. Oh, buddy. Look how clear the water is. Oh. Oh, buddy, look at that thing. Look at this donkey. Look at this donkey. Come on back here, buddy. Come on back here into my big scoop net. Oh, this is looking pretty good day. All right, buddy. Whew. That's about all the fun we can have, guys. It's been the most magical day lake trout fishing for me. We have fought the beast in the past and we conquered the beast today. Hopefully you enjoyed that. We had a blast. Lake trout fishing, great stuff. We've focused on fundamental stuff. The electronics, find them on the graph, heavy equipment, quick to the hook sets, using your GPS and sonar is of most importance. Good time, most importantly, good conservation. So thank you guys for watching. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter if you want to join the conversation. Most importantly, we hope you'll tune in and we'll see you next week. Oh, that wasn't him. I don't think that was him. Oh my God, dude, that fish owns me. Got him. Oh, I missed him. I had him. See if he comes back. You know your morning's off to a good start when you've already been bitten by a fish big enough to get your whole hand in his mouth and bite you. Cut for a second, cut. That was ridiculous.